how to identify a property hotspot, and also one example of such a potential property hotspot after this circuit breaker is lifted. So what do all property owners or buyers or even ourselves, what do we hope for when we have or going to buy a property? I think one of the main thing is to buy at the lowest price and sell at the highest price possible. And also something that is easy to sell in the future. Of course, ideally somewhere near amenities and good schools, but I guess the bottom line is we hope to have a property that will help us increase our wealth and to make more money. So is it that easy? All homeowners want to be here, most profitable deals. And nobody will wish to be here, negative sales, non-profitable deals. So what can we do as real estate salesperson to minimize this risk for ourselves and also for our clients? When I'm in a launch and talking to new clients, all those, we are always bombarded with some of the following questions. Things like, are you sure that there's a potential for this property? Prices in this area, maybe they have not been performing. So are you sure that it's going to be a good buy? And what are the amenities nearby? And what are the upcoming developments or new amenities in the neighborhood in the future? And another golden question that they always ask is, are you sure it's the best time to buy now? So how do we identify a property hotspot? Year plus back, Nina.co actually had this write-out, and they talk about the master plan, how property buyers can see the master plan for an indication on the future. And in short, it's like having a crystal ball to see what's the future like. And thus, more and more people get to know and are looking at this master plan. And as we all know, master plan, there is 5 different planning regions. And apart from the planning regions, they have what we call the market segment. And these are all common terms that we know, CCR, the RCR, and the OCR. Okay, so now coming back to the overview of this planning region, we can see that actually in the central region, this is where the market segment of CCR and RCR is, while the other 4 planning regions are lumped into one market segment, which is OCR, or some people, they will say, suburbs. So why is that so? Okay, in my own personal opinion, let's put it this way. If right now I'm a foreign investor, I want to buy overseas property, let's say in UK, I think the first place that I think of is London. And if Australia is Sydney or Melbourne, if Malaysia, maybe KL, and a developing country like Cambodia, let's say, to play safe, let's invest in Phnom Penh. So likewise, the central region is like the representation of Singapore. When tourists come to Singapore, when people want to relocate to Singapore, most of them know where's Orchard, where's the CBD area, where's Marina Bay, and they're all in the central region. And for foreigners with kids relocating into Singapore, especially the Chinese national, they even know about Bukit Timah. Why? Because this is an area that they call an educational area, or what they call in Chinese, 学区房. So I guess this is some of the reason why the government have more precise and detailed planning in the central region, and why the market segment is segregated into 2 different market segments. But of course, when we look at a certain region, the region is so big that usually will be what we call a region highlights. So this is UI Master Plan 2014. So this is the previous master plan. Okay, in the previous master plan, 2 areas was highlighted, and they are actually the Bidadari Estate and the Paya Lebar quarters. And we all know throughout these past few years, the property price in these 2 areas have gone up quite substantially. Things like these are always on the news. In 2017, the news of SPH and Kajima, the JV on this Bidadari site, which what we now know as Woodley Residence, and also in 2016, Paya Lebar quarter. These are all the news that have come out on these 2 areas subsequently. So right now, if we look at the price trend of D13, where Bidadari is, and D14, which is Paya Lebar, you will see this chart. Okay, just taking June 2013 to December 2019, this orange line is the national average PSF. So meaning to say, if you have bought or you have a property somewhere here, by the time you reach here, on paper, theoretically, you're looking at an average of 13.19% medium increment. But if you look At D13 itself, it is actually much higher at 27.38% during this same period of time. And for D14, we are looking at also 19.08%. So why is that so? Let's take a look at some timeline. Okay, draft master plan was 2013 was announced in November, and the actual master plan was out in June 2014. But you don't really see the price going up at this moment of time. Okay, so apart from master plan, one thing is of course market sentiments, and we all know that just prior to this period of time, there have been consecutive rounds of cooling measure to lower down the price and so that there's not going to be so speculative. Furthermore, during 2014 master plan, I will say not as many people are well versed or well informed on the master plan compared to now. But you take a look at this. In 2016, when they announced the PLQ in District 14, 2016 is here, you see a sudden substantial growth. It's quite obvious. And within 2 years, there's a capital appreciation on average of 21.55%. And why is that so? Okay, one reason is apart from all these news that come out, there are new launches in the area. And for D14 here, at that point of time in 2017, the residential component of Paya Lebar Quarter, which is Park Place Residence, was launched. This is their phase one. And in 2018, phase two was launched. So you can see it also helped the price of the overall district to increase. Likewise, in 2017, when they announced of the winning bid for the current Woodley residents, you can see that in 17 to 18, within 1 year, you have a substantial growth of 23.82%. And why is this growth a bit more and faster and not looking at a 2 year? One of the reasons is because in this area, after this news was announced, there's a new launch called Park Colonia in 2018 and followed by Trevor. Then you have Woodley Resident, which is somewhere around here already. So with all these observation made from the trend from historical point of view, which is the previous master plan, uh, one thing I can summarize is there will always be a significant increase in overall transacted price in the area, or what we call a property hotspot, when the following happen. So major changes in the area being published on public media. Okay. So what are these type of major changes? It can be things like new major infrastructures, landmark buildings, or transport hub or business hub, enhancement in public transport connectivity, new bus interchange on MRT interchange, all those things. Of course, another thing is new amenities like shopping malls and civic and community institutions. So what are civic and community institutions? It's things like maybe library or a community club, things like that. And of course, new recreational space like new parks, new place for the residents to explore. And one more important thing is there must be ample new residential development launches in the area, because this will help to push out the price slowly throughout the years. So where will the next potential property hotspot be, and how do we hunt for it? So I guess the thing of how to hunt for it is, apart from having all these checked, ideally all these new we are able to find it before it's published on public media. So we need to find a location that fulfills all the above criteria as much as possible. So let me give you an example. This is done after quite an extensive research. So I'm coming back to Central Region, and one potential property hotspot that I would like to share with you as an example will be Bukit Timah. Okay, you can see Bukit Timah in terms of density is one of the lowest. Okay, one of the main reasons is because there are more landeds in this area. There are also a lot more GCBs and a lot more green spaces like the Bukit Timah Nature Reserve. Now let's look at 2019 Master Plan Central Region highlights. Okay, so this is an indicative of what will be happening within the next 3 to 5 years, in fact. And why do I say Bukit Timah is because they are being highlighted not only once, not twice, but 3 times. Firstly, in terms of Bukit Timah planning area, you see they highlighted this. This is Beauty World MRT station, followed by this. This is for more spaces for fun and leisure. This is actually Bukit Timah Rochor Green Walk. So this will be running along the Bukit Timah Road. And the next one is this. This is also in Bukit Timah planning area. This is the future Holland Plains. Okay, so coming back, this is the overview of Bukit Timah planning area. And all planning area have what we call sub-planning zone. And as you can see from the master plan 2019, the sub-planning zone, right, the majority of the color is actually for residential, which is this color. And one place that is quite unique is Anam Bukit. You can see over here, there's a bit more color, light blue, which is mixed development, dark blue, pure commercial, and more red colors in this area. One of the things that I realized when I was asking my clients staying in Hillcrest, Coronation, all those is they tends to go to visit Anam Bukit. So Beauty World MRT station is actually over here. Why is that so? Is because they bring their kids to tuition over there. There are a lot of tuition centers over there. Grocery shopping, there's NTUC Finance, there's Giant, there's a wet market there. And even eating, there's a lot of nice eateries in that area. So in a way, this Anam Bukit seems to become an unofficial town center for the Bukit Timah planning area. And if you look at this, this is where Beauty World MRT station is. A lot of people that I've talked to, I realize they have this misconception that Beauty World MRT station is located in OCR because it's at Upper Bukit Timah Road. But actually, that's wrong. Beauty World, this area is actually still under the RCR region, RCR market segment. And if you look at this, the left is the sub-planning zone of Anam Bukit. And on the right, this area, okay, highlighted in blue, this is District 21, okay? This whole thing is District 21. But it is very unique because part of it is under OCR market segment, while the other part is RCR market segment. And what I'll be sharing with you will be more on the RCR market segment of District 21, where Beauty World is. Okay, so this is roughly around 2 square kilometer of Beauty World MRT station. Okay, you can see this is Daintree Residence, one of the new launch that OrangeTee is marketing, and I'm one of the project ICs. Just to give you all some idea, from here, if you walk to Beauty World MRT station, it takes you roughly about 6 to 7 minutes. Okay, and to orientate you all further, I will share with you all some of the photos. Okay, this is an educational site, which is actually Pei Hwa Presbyterian, one of the good school in Singapore. Over here, this empty plot subject to detailed planning is actually here. So right now it's a open field. Behind is a car park, and actually this plot now have become a show flat. It's a show flat for an upcoming launch in Jalan Jurong Kechil. It's called Verdale by CSC Land. So next we have the Chong Chin Nam Road. This is where all the eateries are. You have the Bukit Timah Shopping Centre and Beauty World Centre. Over here, this big plot here is actually, if you drive past Upper Bukit Timah Road, on the right, you see a lot of roadworks and construction. Inside, there's actually a vacant ex-nursing home. Right now, it belongs to the state. It's a state land. And finally, this place. This is Bukit Timah Wet Market and Food Centre. So why do I talk about this place? Because I realized this, what I call a master plan transformation. Okay, on the left, what you see right now is Master Plan 2014. And on the right is Draft Master Plan 2019. You take a look at the place that I've circled. These are the places where there are change of use of the land. Okay, it's one of the rare few places where there's a significant number of changes. And like for example, these two that you see used to be zoned for education, which is maybe school. Right now, it have become residential land. Okay, one of it is subject to detailed planning. The other thing that I would like to highlight to you is this. This one is quite a big change. This H is actually hospital and healthcare, and over here this is zone for hotel. Okay, so these have been changed to a mixed development. Okay, so these are some of the changes in this area. But from draft master plan 2019 to master plan 2019, there are some more further changes. Okay, what are the changes? Over here, you see, this is actually three plots of commercial and residential mixed use land, and it's being combined into one bigger plot. Next thing over here, one plot of residential with commercial at first story is converted into a mixed use land also. And this one is another new launch that's coming in the future, is called the Link at Beauty World. So in summary, there's a clear sign that rejuvenation is taking place in this area. Here's to highlight a few. Number one, this one I've mentioned to you guys just now, the combination of the hotel and healthcare into a mixed development. Number two to three, this is where the current Bukit Timah Community Center is. This is just in front of the entry residence. It will be moved closer to Beauty World MRT station. Then number four is about leisure. The real corridor is confirmed. And number five is this plot. So actually, last year, during the draft master plan exhibition, the government actually shared this photo. It's their artist impression of the future landscape in Beauty World. This is where Beauty World MRT station is. And you see there's the future integrated transport hub and future community building. All are already mentioned. Okay, and if you can see from this is some extracted from Channel News Asia's article. Okay, they are saying that the former Bukit Timah Fire Station and Beauty World will be transformed into gateways for surrounding nature and heritage attractions. So there'll be more street level activities and improved landscapings for a better walking experience. And this is part of how it is. And some more, they still have an artist's impression of a potential future development in Beauty World. Next, we talk about the new community building and also integrated amenities. This again is from the Draft Master Plan 2019 exhibition. Okay, the red dots you see over here actually is what they call integrated amenities. And just nice, Bukit Timah Community Building is again identified as one of these integrated amenities. Apart from that, you see this light yellow, this is existing housing, okay, is existing housing area. And you see Jalan Jong Kecil, there's a dark yellow. Over here are proposed housing. That means there'll be new housing in this area in the future. Okay. Next, we talk back about the Bukit Timah community building. Like I mentioned, it will be moving over to here. So what will happen? The new community building will be a one-stop integrated facility. So it will have the community club. They will combine the current market and the hawker center into it, and it's all at the doorstep of Beauty World MRT station, plus additional amenities like a community library, some elderly facility, and a dual usage indoor sports hall. So this sports hall will be used between the public and of also Pei Hwa Presbyterian. Okay, the news actually was already out in August 2019 in Lianhe Zaobao, and I realized quite a lot of people didn't realize about this thing. The next thing I want to share is new recreational space. Okay, this photo was just now what you see in the region highlights, the Bukit Timah Rochor Green Walk. So what is this Bukit Timah Rochor Green Walk? It's about 11 kilometer of corridor that stretches from the Beauty World, this area, all the way to Kallang Riverside Park. And this will actually improve the lifestyle of this area, and additional greens along the whole Bukit Timah to change it to a even nicer landscape and make it even more biophilic. Likewise, this news is already out in September, and the phase one will start construction in around 2021, which is next year. So you can see there are actually a lot of green spaces or recreational spaces in and around Beauty World vicinity, apart from the Bukit Timah Nature Reserve and Bukit Batok Nature Park, which is the existing one. You have an upcoming Rifle Range Nature Park, the Bukit Timah Rochor Green Walk, and the future Green Promenade Walk. This Green Promenade Walk is actually around Beauty World area again. Apart from this, Beauty World is somewhere unique. The name itself is already unique, as this brings back a lot of history. And because of that, UIA actually identify Beauty World this area as one of 19 identity nodes in the whole of Singapore. Okay, next is integrated transport hub. I think this one will be the most important, and a lot of the news are not out currently. Okay, you take a look at this. This one is the government land sales program. This plot of land, the 3.0 plot ratio that I was telling you about, okay, it is roughly about 350,000 over square feet. Okay, and it is also the only RCR land that's under confirm the first half 2020 confirm land for sale. Okay, GRS under the GRS program, and it's also the only mixed development, mega mixed development in the GRS site. Okay, it can build up to about roughly 865 units, and actually from the UI excerpts, you can see also that they are mentioning that there will be an integrated bus interchange, which will provide amenities for commuters and residents. So what is this integrated transport hub? I went to did some research and find the definition of it, and this is what I found. Okay, so integrated transport hub are fully air-conditioned bus interchange which seamlessly link to MRT station and also the adjoining commercial developments. So these are some of the present ITH that we have right now. Now, you take a look at this. This was a recent launch just last year end, which is around November. This is a similar integrated development in the OCR, and it is called Sengkang Grand Residence. You see, during the first weekend of launch, 216 units are sold. Okay, to me, I think that this is quite well received. But what is the average PSF you're looking at? Okay, in terms of land cost, it's 923 per square feet per plot ratio. Just for comparison purpose, Daintree residence land cost is just about $10+ higher. It's at $939 per square feet, but that is in RCR. This is in OCR, and the average selling price that was transacted is about $1,700 per square feet for Sengkang Grand Residence. And in fact, I try to dig and see the highest caviar lodge. This is what I find: the highest PSF for OCR 99-year leasehold property is at $1,898 per square feet for one bedroom, which amounts to about 960K. This is even more expensive than my Daintree residence current one bedroom, which starts from only 916K. Okay, but why do these buyers still buy, and why is it still so well received? I think one of the main reasons is they know what is going to happen. They know that it's an integrated development that will have a retail mall, hawker center, all those things. So this will improve the convenience. And to some investors, they find that that means since all of this is confirmed, I'm very sure that there will be a potential capital appreciation. But actually, like for example, in Bukit Timah, this area, all these changes have already been taking place since 2015. You know, they have been preparing the infrastructure for all these changes, and they have been doing road works. This plot here is where the integrated transport hub is. If you realize the surrounding road, all are being expanded. Okay, and over here, you drive out towards PIE, is the beginning of the 6 lane of PIE. Before that, it's only about 3 to 4 lanes. So all these are the changes in this area for in terms of road works. And just along Jalan Jong Kecil, okay, Jalan Jong Kecil, over here is where Daintree Residence is, and this is Beauty World MRT station. In June 2018, you can see that there's some road works, and this is 2 lanes each side. And in September 2019, they have already widened it to 3 lanes on both sides. And also, they completed a full cover walkway that will link from the Toei HDB estate all the way to Beauty World MRT station. But apart from all this, there's another interesting thing. Okay, you take a look back at the master plan over here. So this land, which is about 250,000 square feet, subject to detailed planning, is directly above the Beauty World MRT station. Where else have a similar situation before? Actually, you do not need to look far. It's actually Bidadari Estate. You take a look at Master Plan 2008, subject to detailed planning, okay? Subject to detailed planning, and it's a mixed development land directly on top of Woodley MRT station. And in 2014, it becomes like this. And we all know what have happened. This is the $1 billion top bid, which is the Woodley residence. And the news was announced, like I mentioned just now, June 2017. And if you look back at this chart, you can see the orange line is within 1 kilometer of Woodley residence, private residential. Blue line is within 1 kilometer of Beauty World MRT station. You can see once they announce the price surge up, the transaction volume surge up because of the new launches I mentioned over here. But if you realize 10 years ago, in fact, Beauty World, the average PSF is higher than Woodley, this area. But right now, you can see it's inverted. So in a way, I find that there is actually a lot of potential for this Beauty World area, and it is also what we call the old times rich man area. The other thing, this one is still not on the news. Cross Island Line. Okay, Cross Island Line, what is on the news? It's only phase one. Okay, we know that the new Cross Island Line phase one was announced, and it leads all the way until Bright Hill. Okay, but let's look at the impact based on just phase one to property sales. Okay, there's one of the MRT station that was announced is Serangoon North for the Cross Island Line, and it actually helped in the spike in sales to all those new launches near to Serangoon North. And if you take a look at this chart, okay, if I don't remember wrongly, there are two condos that's within 1 kilometer of this Serangoon North. One is Affinity at Serangoon, and the other one is Garden Residence. And both, if I don't remember wrongly again, it is launched around Q2 of 2018. So after the launch, you can see that the transaction volume tapered down. And what happened in Q1 2019? This is where the announcement of the Cross Island Line was made public. That means it's all on social media and newspaper. And you can see there's a very definitive jump in terms of the number of transactions, because a lot of buyers, these are the changes, there will be potential. But bear in mind, all these things will only happen, the MRT will only be completed in 2029. But because all these are confirmed news, so a lot of people are jumping into this buying wagon for this area. But if you look over here, the Cross Island Line is actually running from east to west of Singapore. So right now it's only mentioned until Bright Hill, but according to LTA, it will stretch past for phase 2 towards Bukit Timah, Clementi, and then after that towards West Coast and Jurong. And this is how it will be like, and who will be taking the Cross Island Line. So you can see it's all the way from Tuas Port all the way to Changi Airport, and nearby you have the high-speed rail and US, NTU, all those. But if you realize, the announcement of phase 1 was actually in early 2019. So what happened? Why the phase 2 wasn't announced yet? Okay, one main reason is because of this central catchment reserve alignment. Okay, you can see they are thinking whether to cut through directly the central catchment or doing a detour. And in fact, the LTA engaged a third party to do an environmental impact assessment. And in December 2019, they have confirmed that the Cross Island Line will take the direct route under Central Catchment Nature Reserve. So let's take a look back at this master plan. And besides this master plan, I put in also the landed and GCB's area. Okay, next, what I put in is the work site. This is the starting work site of Cross Island Line towards Bukit Timah area. Okay, and usually some of this work site tends to become the station box in the future. Okay, next, you see this is King Albert Park MRT station, Beauty World MRT station, and of course the future integrated transport hub. Okay, in the phase 1 2019, they mentioned that LTA say they will not have a major effect on residents and landowners, because they will try to avoid land acquisition as much as possible. Think about this. These are not just normal landed. These are GCB area where the high and mighty top 1% of Singaporeans are. If that's the case, do you think the chances of it cutting through is there? I will say the possibility is pretty low. And from what I've seen from Downtown Line and the newer MRT lines, it tends to run along main road as much as possible to prevent any land acquisition or bringing inconvenience to the public. And if you take a look at Singapore's Rail Network 2040, okay, this is from Channel News Asia. In this infographics, you can see where I circle and I expand this out. Okay, so this is Downtown Line and the East-West Line. I superimpose it with the master plan so that you all know what's the land usage for. Then I add in the starting point of the Cross Island Line towards Bukit Timah. So this one is again the Downtown Line and the East-West Line. One thing is very interesting. Okay, you see, the infographic is actually quite accurate. You see this intersection here, maybe it's a bit too small. You may explore it once we uploaded it. Okay, this intersection is where Clementi MRT is. We know the Cross Island Line is going past Bukit Timah, which is where Downtown Line is. Then followed by Clementi, where East-West Line is. So, like for Park Clementi, I heard agents also mention before, like, hey, we are near to the future interchange, which is Clementi. Why do they say that? Because East-West Line, there's only one MRT station called Clementi, which is Clementi MRT station. But when we talk about Bukit Timah, there is no MRT station that's called Bukit Timah. You only have over here Beauty World, King Albert Park. Going down is 6th Avenue. Going up is the upcoming Hume Avenue MRT station. So the golden question is, where do you think the Cross Island Line and Downtown Line interchange will be? Okay, but you see, the future integrated transport hub is over here. 2014 to 2019 master plan, the change is drastic. And from 2019 master plan, which was announced just last year, they immediately have this land for sale. This to me are some of the indications of potentially where will be the Cross Island Line interchange. Now we take a look at District 21. Okay, we see the overall price trend of District 21, which is the one in blue, and just the RCR region, which is the one in orange. You can see that generally RCR area of D21 have a higher PSF compared to the overall. And one thing I realized is since 2017, the proportion of the number of RCR D21 transaction has been increasing. You see, from 70.23% to 2018, 2019 to even 2020. You see, it's steadily increasing. So why all these increase? Actually, one of the thing is you can see based on this Daintree Residence, this GLS site. You know, when this GLS site was launched by the government, open for tender, it actually was a very, very heavily contested site. Okay, it's the first GLS site to be launched in that area from a couple of years. There haven't been much new launch for a few years in that area also. And at 24 bids, it is the second highest in terms of the number of bidders for one particular land since 2009. And one more thing that if you realize is the top three bids are all just within 6% of each other's bidding price. And this plot of land actually exceeded a lot of property consultants' expectation. They were estimating about 8 to 16 bidder with a highest bid not more than $750 per square feet per plot ratio. But you see these top 10 bids actually all are above their estimation or what they have predicted. So now let's take a look at the launches in Bukit Timah planning area from 2018 till present. Okay, the orange ones are the current launches. So you have District 10, you have 4th Avenue and Royal Green. There are some more new launches behind, but we just talk about this area. In fact, let's talk about just the D21 RCR region, which is over here. Okay, you have Daintree Resident, which is the first to launch, followed by Mayfair Collections, and then View at Kismis. So these three are launched. There are three more upcoming launch, which is Verdale, The Link, and Foret, followed by a new supply, which is the new GRS site, which is this integrated transport hub. Now let's take a look at the total number of units potentially for this area, just District 21 RCR region. You are looking at slightly below 3,000. So a lot of people will maybe ponder and say, hey, wow, seems to have too many new launches in the area. Will there be a oversupply? My guess is most probably not. Because why? This 7 to or even 8, because Mayfair can be counted as 2, they have less than 3,000 units. You know, nowadays, some developments, they have a single development itself have 1,000 to even 2,000 over units in one condo. To me, I feel that one good thing about more sites and lesser unit per development is that they cater to different buyers. Because different buyers have different needs. Maybe some people, they don't like to stay in big condos. They want to stay in lesser people, household less than 200 units. So they have this different type of choices. And also the other thing is different condo have different landscape, different facilities, and the maintenance fee is also different. The concept is also different. This will, in a way, promote what I call a healthy healthy competition. And with different concept and sizes, it also means that there may be slightly different price points, which may still help to push the price in a more steady pace. So let me give you an example. If all these 2,700 over unit are in the same development, uh, and if I'm a seller that I urgently need to sell, the only way for me to sell this faster than the rest, let's say my upstairs, downstairs, left and right, they are all selling. The only way that I can attract them is lower price. Why? Because we are all enjoying the same facilities. We are paying about the same maintenance fee and things like that. The layout is almost similar or maybe slightly bigger and smaller. But if I'm a buyer and they are all different developments, it's harder for me to compare purely just based on the price point, because different unit, different development have different style and size, and my requirement may be different also. So I cannot just choose based on just the lowest price. I have other criteria to weigh because everything is different. Plus, all these launches and their future TOP are staggered. It's not just one or two developments being launched or TOP together. You don't have a sudden supply of 2,000 over. It will be like 300 plus, 300 plus, 600 plus. So they are quite staggered, and this will also means that the supply are steadily released into the market. So to me, all these are actually push factors that will help to push the price upwards in the future. And right now, just to share with you, like I realized for Daintree residents, beginning the selling was a bit slower, but right now it have picked up. In fact, from September 1st, 2019 till just April 10th, you can see the number of transactions have increased. And April itself is just based on the first 10 days. And 2 units of these are taken up during the circuit breaker period. You can see it's a very obvious increase in the number of units sold. Why is that so? Because some of the buyers are becoming more savvy. Agents know more about all these things. These are all the news and the timeline of the news of what have happened in Beauty World, this area. And in 2020, what will be the potential news? Like what I mentioned just now, there will be two. One will be the government land sale site, who will be the winner, which is similar to what you have seen the news report for Wule Residence and Paya Lebar Quarter. The other one will be where is the phase 2 MRT station, no, which is what you see for the phase 1, how it have helped the sales for some of the new launch in the area. But before COVID-19, my take is that this is my guess that in terms of the announcement, most probably will be phase 2, where will be the train station for Cross Island Line, followed by the government land sales site open for tender. Why do I say that? Is because if you are the government, if I'm the government, I will want to have all these positive news out first to attract more interest. That means more developer take interest into this plot of land. They will have more bidders and potentially higher bid. But because of this COVID-19, we can only monitor, but I still remain hopeful that this will still be the case. So now let's take a look. So does Beauty World vicinity fits what I call a property hotspot criteria?